Welcome to the Melodi Podcast. Today I'm going to talk about how music changed history in the 60s and some of the artists that contribute to that. The Vietnam War influenced many musicians pushing protest music into the mainstream. How was the music received by music communities in America, and what kind of impact did it have on American politics? I've got it coming right up. Number 1. Aretha Franklin with the song Respect. Originally written and recorded by Otis Redding in 1965 off of the Soul Singer's third album, Otis Redding sings Soul, Respect. It was never the same once Aretha Franklin rearranged the song and transformed it into the anthem of female empowerment. The way Franklin spelled out respect ensured the message was loud and clear. She flipped the song from a plea from a man to a woman he loves to a woman's demand for respect. In Redding's version, there was no spelling of respect and no backup singers. In its original form, the song was also played out as a more male-dominated relationship, show respect to your man kind of way. Until Franklin called for respect towards women, the song became a running anthem for feminist and civil rights movements throughout the 1970s. And number 3, Marvin Gaye's What's Going On. In the heart of 1971, the airwaves were graced by the profound melodies of what many regard as Marvin Gaye's crowning achievement. Remarkably crafted in just 10 days, What's Going On wasn't just another song on the charts. Upon its release, it soared, capturing the top spots on both the R&B and pop charts, and ensuring the album became a commercial titan, selling over 2 million copies and steadily gracing the charts for over a year. This work stands as the best-selling album of Gaye's career. Beyond its commercial success, the song carries a profound meaning. This piece stands as a deep dive into the meaning of the anthem that has for over half a century continued to challenge and inspire. A masterpiece arising from the golden age of soul music, What's Going On wasn't just a chart topper, it was a reflection, a mirror held up to society in turmoil. It questioned the Vietnam War and pointed at systemic racism and economic disparities. The masterwork captures the spirit of the early 1970s and highlighting to a period marked by activism, civil unrest, and passionate call for change. The Vietnam War was at its height, and many young American men of every color were being drafted, sent overseas, and returned in coffins. The pain and suffering of the war led Gaye to question, "Brother, brother, brother, there's far too many of you dying." These lyrics now, in the wake of movements like Black Lives Matter, still resonate deeply with African Americans. Protests against the war furthermore paved the way for imagining a better world, and one which people cared for each other and lived in peace. The musical and movie Hair contrasted the depth of culture of the Vietnam War with an idolized hippie culture of peace. The song Aquarius / Let the Sunshine In peaked at number 1 on the pop charts for 6 weeks in the spring of 1969. In 1970, Woodstock, Joni Mitchell celebrated the coming together of young people creating a new order, and we've got to get ourselves back to the garden. John Lennon's Imagine in 1971 envisioned a world in which hunger and division have ended. Number 2, Sam Cooke's A Change Is Gonna Come. For starters, radio listeners in 1965 were not even able to hear the whole song. In his writing of Change, Sam Cooke had been inspired by Blowing in the Wind, the 1963 protest song by Bob Dylan. At the time, Cooke, a gospel music veteran whose creamy voice and good looks had carried him to pop crossover fame, was longing to explore something more serious in his music. The new sense of urgency, the desire to make a political statement, was manifested in one of Change's most striking lines. "I go to the movies and I go downtown, but something keeps telling me don't hang around." But according to Cooke's business partner, gospel vocalist J.W. Alexander, speaking in Peter Grunick's 1986 book Sweet Soul Music, the potentially controversial line was cut when Change was issued as a single in late 1964. Only long-playing album buyers heard the full version, with politicized lyrics intact. Ironically, those in charge of promoting Change subjected it to the same inequitable standards Cook had meant to criticize. In addition to Cook's sudden and tragic death, ensured that Change was already imbued with an elegant air by the time it was released. To date, no one is quite sure what happened that night on December 11, 1964, when Cook was shot to death at the motel in downtrodden section of Los Angeles. Biographic Grunick clearly believes that rather than being linked to a deliberate plot to kill an African-American singer who had become too successful for his own good, as some have argued, Cook's murder came as the combined result of fast lifestyle and bad timing. Still, the questions and conspiracy theories remain, and they lend potency to another Change's memorable lines. It's been too hard living, but I'm afraid to die because I don't know what's up there beyond the sky. Sam Cooke was only 33. From its initial release as a B-side to the fun but largely forgettable Shake, A Change Is Gonna Come grew in stature, slowly building a reputation as the civil rights and other social movements reached full flowering in years to come. Hey, here's a fun music fact. A study conducted by a South Korean scientist from the National Institute of Architectural Biotechnology found that plants grow faster when music is played around them. The study used 14 different classical pieces, including Beethoven's Moonlight Sonata, in rice fields. Findings were that the music helped the crops grow at a faster pace and pointed to the evidence that plants have genes in them which enable them to hear. Crazy, huh? Here's the music history for January 27th. In 1998, the Dixie Chicks, now named the Chicks, released their major label debut, Wide Open Spaces. It's the country trio's first album with lead singer Natalie Maines. In 2015, Taylor Swift's Twitter and Instagram accounts are hacked, resulting in bogus tweets to her, at the time, 51 million followers. In 1984, at the peak of his popularity, Michael Jackson films an ad for Pepsi that goes horribly wrong when some stray pyro sets his hair on fire. In 1973, Stevie Wonder's Superstition hits number 1 in America, where it stays for 1 week. In 1962, with The Twist at number 1 in America, 2 San Francisco DJs sell out the Cow Palace in San Francisco with a twist party headlined by Chubby Checker. Here's the Melody news for the week of January 27th. Melody Cares launches Pledge of the Month for American Heart Association. Our goal is to raise $5,000 by the end of February. You can donate at shopmelody.com/melodycareers and join me from 8 to 10 p.m. for the live stream to raise money for the awareness tonight, January 27, 2024. Melody Apparel is now Melody Media. We are transitioning to a digital platform. You can purchase Melody Media gear to support the Melody family at shopmelody.com. ShopMelody.com will be the home for Melodi Podcast, our YouTube shows, and the future Melody social networking site, and the future Melody Radio. The website is currently in the works, and hopefully will be done within the next week. We have a new show coming out on YouTube called Melodious. It's a ridiculous game show about music games, music board games, playing instruments, and more, launching March 2nd on the Melody YouTube channel. Melody will soon be available on iOS and Google Play, so you can access it through an app making social networking and purchasing easy and accessible. If you or someone you know would like to be a part of the Melodi journey, volunteers are needed for production, development, and entertainment. Add some experience to your portfolio for that future career. Must be a 16 with a background in filmmaking, coding, graphic design, and or marketing. This is a remote opportunity to build a brand and build your career. Must have computer access, Microsoft Teams, and a camera/microphone. You can send your resume or any experience you have to js@shopmelody.com. You may get the chance to be on future podcast episodes and or YouTube videos. Thank you for listening to the Melodi Podcast. I hope you enjoyed this episode. If you did, please follow us, like us on our social media accounts, and rate us 5 stars. I'm your host, James Shelton, and I'll see you next week.